Hi True Crew, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check the description box for links to the website. Get your free download Setting Goals, Fitness, and Nutrition, and follow on social media for daily motivational quotes and reposts of videos and podcasts. Coming at you today with a quick video on why money is the root of all evil. The real reason why, because we tend to forget this. And the only reason why I decided to bring this up was I was just talking with my cousin whose grandfather just passed, on her other side of the family, of course. And then after I was sitting here editing a couple videos I just made, it made me think about this TED Talk I was partially listening to on NPR this weekend when I was working. And I'm not a fan of NPR. It's kind of the same thing over and over again. It's just the same story, like it's a recorded story and they play it over and over. I tell my Democrat buddy, the thing I like about actual talk radio, even though it's more conservative, it's dominated by conservatives, is it might be the same story, but it's a different personality, so you're getting a different point of view. And when you get that different point of view, you're able to pick up a few little tidbits of knowledge. It's like I tell everybody, the reason why you should read so many self-help books is because 95% of the book's probably the same. I'm looking for that book that has that 5% of something new that I've never read before. And so what it brought up in that story, it said something, they only did like a little bit of the TED Talk, and then I think they interviewed the person that actually did the TED Talk. And it has something to do with, like, research shows the more money you make, the less generous you are. And to me, that's just a crock. That's a whole bunch of BS, right? Because when it comes down to it, the way I've always been taught was money is going to show your true colors. I think Cat Williams says it best in one of his stand-up comedy specials. It's like the worst thing a drunk can do is win the lottery. Why? Because that drunk's going to spend all his money on booze and then end up dying of alcohol poisoning, most likely, right? The greatest thing for an alcoholic is a limited amount of money. He goes in knowing he's got $20, he can only drink $20 worth of alcohol, right? So why? Because the money's going to show your true colors, right? Now, that's unfortunate when it comes to people that have money and they have the Mercedes or the BMW, the Range Rover. We kind of judge them at first sight, but there are some people who have that car just because they like the car, and then there are some people who have that car and think they're better than you because they have that car, right? And unfortunately, a majority of the time we come in contact with people that think they're better than you because they own that car, and then we kind of equate that to all Range Rover drivers, all Mercedes drivers, all BMW drivers. And it's like, well, no, that person was just a jerk to begin with, and that's unfortunately the way that they are. And that's how money is. I don't believe that the more money you make, the less generous you are. It shows your true colors. So in that sense, that's when money is the root of all evil. Or it could be, the one thing I thought was kind of in sync with it, it's if you inherit the money. Maybe that could be, but in reality, that's just showing the type of person you are, the type of person that your parents raised you to be. Because even if you come into a lot of money, that doesn't mean anything. It's still going to show your true character. But once again, it comes down to the way that you are raised and the type of person you believe yourself to be. Because we've got to understand that we're all special, we're all gifted, we're all talented in this world. Unfortunately, some of us haven't actually discovered those gifts and talents, or we're following the wrong gift and the wrong talent that we have been given by God, so we're not our true selves. So in reality, money, if you see money change somebody, that just goes to show you that's who that person really was, right? Because a great example is Shannon Sharpe. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He was a Denver Bronco, retired Hall of Fame, Super Bowl champion. When he first got his NFL contract, he said, the first thing I did was buy my grandma a house. I was 20, whenever he, got his contract. He's like, I was like 22 years old living with my grandmother for like 3-4 years, and all the guys in the locker room were making fun of me. But the main thing I wanted to make sure was that my grandma was set for life, because she was always there for me. She raised me, and she taught me how to be a man. Maybe his grandfather too. But that's the kind of person he was. Versus there are some other stars that get the big bucks, and what do? Go buy a house with 20 rooms in it, and it's just them. Half the rooms probably don't even have, furniture in them. But that's the type of person that they were. They weren't raised correctly, unfortunately. The next reason why money is the root of evil, and once again, it's always going to be, money never changes you. And if it does change you, it changes you two ways. You were given off a fake facade that you were some great person, and the money turned you into a horrible person, which in reality, you were just fake anyways, right? Or you're going to continue to do great things in life with that money and help those around you. And the next reason why money is the root of all evil is because when a family member dies that has money, your grandparents, whatever, they get the money, all of a sudden now family members are fighting, right? No, you can't do this. No, we don't want you around them because we think, oh, he's going to try and take the money. He's going to try to convince dad to give us all the money or him all the money and this and that, right? The root of all evil. Just be happy you get what you get. And if you raise your children correctly and you teach them to be good stewards of the gifts that they've been given, their talent, their time, treasure, and talent, no amount of money is going to change that, right? My grandmother my great grandmother had a little bit of money, and you know what she did with her money? It makes me want to go to Africa now. I heard my great grandmother built a school in Africa and paid for the first year of tuition, or the first couple months. I don't know what I saw pictures of it. It didn't look fancy, just some cement building, but my great grandmother built a school in Africa somewhere, and I've never been there. I don't know if it's still up and running or what's going on, but that's freaking awesome. At that time, I was never close to that side of the family. I didn't become close to that side of the family till about, maybe 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Once I started getting my act together, getting in shape, becoming more spiritual, I realized I had to make amends with that side of the family. But what my great grandmother did as well is she would, one time a year, she would get pay for a vacation for the whole family. I know one they saw, and I was looking at the pictures. I was like, dang, my dad was like, there's no pictures of you in here. And I was like, yeah, that's because I didn't go. I don't know if I wasn't invited. I was probably invited. I was just like, no, I'm not hanging out with any of you. But she took the entire family, like 20, 25 people, to a dude ranch for a full week. My dad's side's farmers and stuff, or ranchers, but she took them out to a big dude ranch for a week, and they did that, That's generosity. She was just a rancher, They don't make that much money, but I don't know, whatever she had, what little money she had, she was spending that on family vacations. Whatever she was saving, she knew the importance of family. She was just a generous person. And that's how you can tell money is the root of all evil. It's not having more money makes you less generous, right? And I think that's why sometimes you need that concept of, well, people get it twisted, the Catholic concept of, like, you need good works. Good works don't get you to heaven, but you need cooperation with the Holy Spirit within you. And that's kind of sometimes where that consequence of heaven or hell comes into play, and it does good, right? Because supposedly, all these big-time billionaires from back in the day, J.P. Morgan and the Rockefellers and Carnegie, right? Supposedly these bad people, but I don't know when, but they got Carnegie Hall out there and all that in New York, right? Started putting money towards it. To me, that might be more of that he thinks good works are going to get him to heaven, because maybe he was close to his deathbed and was like, dang, you know how much torture I put my clients through, my employees through. I need to start throwing this money and try and do something good with it. Maybe by that time it was too late, man. I don't know the situation. I don't know how it went, but you got to understand, money can be the root of all evil, but that's if you yourself haven't put the work in to try to eliminate that evil from you, right? Maybe that original sin, whatever you want to call it, that accumulation of sin and dirty deeds on your soul. That's why we as Catholics believe you need that confession to God, right? You go to confession to a priest to be cleansed of your sins. Because I've heard it said best, every little sin, you have that confession with God, your soul is white as snow. All of a sudden, one little white lie is like getting just one little drip of spaghetti on your shirt, and you just kind of wipe it off, whatever, Next day, you eat a little bit of ice cream over here. Oh well, Next thing you know, whole shirt's just covered in junk. That's what your soul looks like after you let these little things eat away at you and you don't ask for forgiveness and you don't cleanse yourself. So we need to make sure that we are doing that however you feel best. But once again, root of all evil, in some cases, it depends on what kind of person you are deep down inside. And when you actually fall into some money or something happens, we'll start to see your true colors. You know, were you fake this whole time, or was that truly how you were? Were you really that generous, loving, kind person? And if so, it's going to come out in the way that you use that blessing that you've been given. So once again, I hope this helps. Don't forget to follow on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, podcast. Links down below. Subscribe to this channel. Share and like these videos.